Peace, little light of healing. Peace, little light of healing. Peace to the gods. Peace to the earth. Y'all climb on in. Climb on in. How y'all feeling? How y'all doing? Climb on in the building. What we got? We got 222 today. The portals are open. You know, everything is moving into an aquatic period. Moving into Aquarius, you know. I got a 222 download for y'all. And I want to talk about the true purpose of man and how your health is vitally important to fulfilling your purpose. You know, you ask somebody what's their purpose. They be like, my purpose is to save the world. My purpose is to be a musician. My purpose is to do this. My purpose is to do that. But then you start really getting into biochemistry and you start getting into, you know, physiology, and you start studying anatomy, and you start studying autonomy. And it's clear what our purpose is as men and women, or gods and goddesses here on this earth. So let's talk about it. Y'all climb on in. How is your diet? How is your living? How is your environment? How is your peers and people that surround you stopping you from your true purpose and not what we have been told what purpose is? A lot of us mistake our gifts as our purpose. A lot of us mistake our talents as our purpose, but your gifts and your talents are tools that you utilize to help you fulfill your purpose. So when you start studying, you know, human anatomy, and you start getting into the biochemical, biospiritual body, you know, what we start seeing when we look at it, we look at the body as it's an information gathering system, or what we call a quantum supercomputer. And we know that quantum supercomputers actually simulate and imitate the brain. And what it does is the brain collects data. The brain collects data and information, just like a supercomputer collects data. A supercomputer collects data and information. You look inside of the nucleus of a cell, and that nucleus of a cell holds something called deoxyribose nucleic acid, which holds histones. This histones holds the genome code. The genome code holds information. It holds data. You see that? You start looking at the physiological structure of the body, like you have fingers, you have fingernails, you have fingernails to experience, to peel things, you have fingers to enhance, to pick up things, to experience, to collect, to learn, to download. You have legs to walk, you walk to journey. You have a mouth to speak, you speak to express one divine nature. You see that? So everything that we do inside of this life with these biospiritual vehicles, or what we're going to call bodies, notice is for data collecting and information gathering. You see that? And then the body is so amazing. You have physiological structures that protect the information that you're gathering. Notice if you look at a cell and you have all the information inside the nucleus of the cell, the genomes, the deoxyribose nucleic acid is all being protected by something called the outer membrane of the cell. Then the outer membrane of the cell, all that information is protected by something called the interstitium fluid of the body. This interstitium fluid is then protected by something called lymph vessels. The lymph vessels are protected by T cells, or what you call thymus cells, B cells, or what you call bone marrow cells, phagocytes, lymphocytes, monophils, neutrophils, basophils. So even that is actually protected. Then you get into the blood, and where the blood is birthed from, because the life is in the blood. The life, or the chayim, the kaya, or the yaka, is what we call the breath form. And this is oxygen, carbon, and hydrogen. A little nitrogen here and there from the air. But notice this is actually giving breath or giving life to the blood, and the blood is birthed from the bone marrow. But then you have this bone structure covered in calcium and magnesium, monotriphosphate, that protects the blood, because the bone is where the blood comes from. It's like a living spring, or a spring of water that's birthing from the earth and is springing forth from a rock. Same thing, how the blood bursts from your bones. But then you have this calcified structure that protects the information in the blood. You see that? And then your brain. Your brain deals with so much information. It's called the central nervous system. It deals with melanin neurotransmitters. Your kidneys and your adrenals deal with the autonomic nervous system, the parasympathetic and the sympathetic nervous system. Notice the adrenals protect the kidneys. You see that? Notice that the rib cage protect the lungs and the breath. You notice that? Notice that your skeleton structure or your cranial protects your brain, which all the information come in at. So if you look at the physiological structure or the anatomy of the body is a quantum computer that is constantly gathering and collecting information and data. And then the whole entire body is built to actually protect whatever the data that it have downloaded. Meaning that your purpose truly is to be here to what? Collect information. Now, if we look at this in a sensible sense, that means that you are here to experience, because that's all collecting information and collecting data is. You are experiencing, you are decoding the download. You're literally walking through life and you are learning. Now, my whole question is this: if you are collecting data and if your whole entire body, the anatomy of your body was created to protect the data that you collected and you are here to experience, what is the data and what is the information for? What is the data and what is the information for? And then you see, that all of us have to go through a transitional stage where we leave this body here on the earth, and then our spirit, once the nervous system separates from the blood and the oxygen separates from the blood, clinically they call this death. But if you're in the African culture, you know that this is just a transitional period. What do you do with that information? You go back to the source. You go back to the source with the information that you just gathered while you were here on earth. So in the simplest form, your purpose is to teach God. I know this sounds crazy. I know this sounds taboo, but your purpose here on earth is to teach God, because God is the source. God is the true consciousness. Consciousness created all things. Consciousness wanted to experience its own creation, so consciousness created 7 billion different people. And then the 7 billion different people went into earth and started experiencing on their own to bring the information and to bring the data that they just collected back to the source or the consciousness which created them. Because consciousness, the only way that it can experience it, have to create a body. And that's the reason why you have eyes. You have eyes for you can see. You see light code frequencies, you decode the information, and then these things turn into pictographic images. Same thing with your ears. You have ears to hear. You get the vibration, you get the light codes, and then you break those down into sensible information, data. You're picking up on data. When you listen to somebody speak, you're downloading. That's how you listen. You listen to learn. When you're watching something, you're learning. You're downloading. That's why you have eyes. When you smell something, you're getting essential smells in. This is therapeutic. You're downloading. When you taste, you're downloading to your taste buds. When you have sex, you're downloading. Everything is information. That's why they say sexual intercourse, because you literally are entering to a course when you have sex, because you're downloading everything through her fluids and she's downloading everything through you. Especially if you ejaculating, you're putting your information or your germs or your frequency into this woman. She downloads that information by the fallopian tubes and by her ovaries, and from that you create a quantum computer, or what we call a human being. So everything that we are here to do is to experience, to collect data, to learn, and to bring it back to source, because source is true consciousness, and consciousness wanted to experience its own creation, so it created 7 billion different people to do that. Now, I'm saying all that to say this, right? If we are here to collect information, if we are here to collect data, which we just proved through a physiological aspect, through autonomy aspect, through all these different aspects, and we see that we are truly supercomputers here to decode information and to bring it back to the source. What happened if we are supercomputers, and just like a computer can catch a virus, you can catch a virus that stop your programming. You can catch a virus that stop you from downloading the information. You can catch a virus that stops the computer from rebooting. You can catch a virus from stopping the computer to, upgrading. And these viruses is coming from your foods. These viruses is coming from what you're hearing. These viruses is coming from the information that you're seeing. These viruses is coming from the foods that you tasting. These viruses is coming from the air that you're breathing. And this is what's totally hijacking our consciousness, because our supercomputers have been compromised because the environment that we have been put in is giving us viruses, which is stopping us from doing our purpose, because your purpose is to experience. You have people here that are sick, some that are wheelchair bound that can never walk, some that have throat cancer that can never speak, some that are blind that can never see, some that are deaf that can never hear, some that are in so much pain that all they know is their bodies. They don't know any information or external information outside of their biospiritual vehicle or avatar that we call body, because they're too locked into their body because of mucus, because of acids, and because of pain. You see that? And what if this was created, a diabolical plan and plot to put you in a simulation to hijack your consciousness, to change what consciousness is, to change the information, and now we are being fed the wrong information and we're downloading these codes, and you bring them wrong codes back to the consciousness we call God. Is that the true judgment day? Is that the true sin? Allowing yourself to be biohacked? And then you download these codes and you download these viruses, and then you're transitioning up out of this simulation and you bring consciousness back the wrong information. Because remember, consciousness is God, and God is just trying to experience what it created. So in order to experience what it created, God had to create itself a body, and you are the embodiment of God itself. Consciousness needs to experience what it created, so it created you and I. So now we're going around experiencing and downloading and learning and remembering things, and then we transition and we take this information back to the source. And then once it gets that information, we reincarnate and come through the spiritual ancestral umbilical cord. And then now we downloading more information again. And each time we are experiencing reality with a new perception or with a new personality, which makes the information in different variables. You see that? And that's how the actual consciousness learn and to expand through you. So never, when we look at God, we say that God is all knowing. We say that God is, omnipotent, omnipresent. What I believe that. But the knowing come from its creation. See that? The knowing, God is expanding and God is learning and knowing what it created and how to experience its creation through you living. And a lot of y'all are not living because your diets is stopping you from experiencing. Your diet is stopping you from living. A lot of y'all are not living and traveling because the neighborhoods you in got gangbangers and you can't go 2 blocks over or you'll be murdered. A lot of y'all are not living and experiencing because you have never been on a plane. You're afraid. You're scared to fly. You're scared of water. You're scared to get on a boat. A lot of y'all are in hospitals, can't eat certain things. Pancreas is messed up. A lot of us have been put into a simulation. When you really start looking at, culture, and this is the reason why we have to reinvent our culture, because culture is created for problem solving, right? If you look at the root word for culture, it comes from cultivation. Cultivation is what you do to a land. So you cannot have a culture without a land, because you have to cultivate that land. So essentially a culture means growth. So how can you say we doing this for the culture, or we are part of the African culture, and the African culture is not growing, or the indigenous African culture, whatever y'all want to identify with, it's not growing and not expanding? If you're not growing and you're not expanding, that means that you're not utilizing the knowledge or the information that you're experiencing, because you're experiencing the wrong information. And then we talk about consciousness all the time, how we need to revamp the consciousness of indigenous African people. Well, consciousness actually comes from the word knowing. Knowing comes from the word knowledge. Knowledge means to know the ledge. That means you have a logical brain and you have your creative brain that thinks in the balance of my eye. So if I step off this building, gravity is going to make me bust my head and die. So I know the ledge, meaning I have knowledge. Now, once you have knowledge and you apply this and you step away from the ledge, that means you realize that it had a wide dome. This is where you get the word wisdom from. So with the application of knowledge, you gain wisdom. You only can gain wisdom by the application of knowledge, but you can't know anything that if you don't have conscious. You have to be. That's what conscious means. It means to know. Well, if your consciousness have been hijacked and you have been fed a false consciousness, if your whole consciousness have been falsified. You know, they lied in the history books. They gave you a falsified history, an artificial history. They're lying in the music. They're giving you an artificial reality in the music. They lying on the televisions. They feeding you fear to ignite your adrenal glands, to pump adrenochrome in you, you know, for you can be in a state of fight or flight. So now you living through fear and you have all these stress-related diseases. The air you breathe is full of acids. They got all types of chemicals inside of your clothes. They got chemicals in your toothpaste. You eating GMO foods. You listening to GMO music. Everything that they're giving you is to overthrow your consciousness, and they're injecting their own consciousness and information into you. So if you constantly living that out, then that means you are totally unaware of who you truly are. And that brings us back to the identity crisis, because if you know who you are, and we're talking about nation building, I'm not talking about individuality. There's no such thing as that. Everything is social. Everything is systematic. There's no such thing as individuality, or I'm an independent man or an independent woman. You are your group. Your group is your tribe. Your tribe is your culture. You see what I'm saying? Our culture have been hijacked, and this is why we are full of disease and we are full of illnesses. And this is the reason why we can't truly experience reality and bring this information back to teach our God, is because we were not unified, and we are letting another people fuel our consciousness and fuel our culture. Because remember, culture means to cultivate. Culture means cultivation. It means to grow. We're not growing. We're not. Just look out. Look on the TV. Look at what our women doing, how they're degrading themselves. Look at the men, what they speaking about in their rap lyrics. Look at it. All of us is so addicted to games and television and hooping and football, just all type of distractions, when everything around us is collapsing. Look at how we spend our money. You see that? Look at how we spend our money with other nations. And, you know, we benefit other nations, but we don't benefit ourselves. Go into the neighborhoods and see what's on the corners of these neighborhoods. It's nothing that's going to benefit your culture. It's nothing that's going to benefit your Africanality or your reality as an indigenous African in America. You have Chinamans on every corner. You're not from China. You don't eat Chinese food. You see that? There's a pharmaceutical company, or what they call a Walgreens or a CVS, on every corner. That medicine messes with your body because you're a prokaryotic cell, not a eukaryotic cell. You see that? Look at all the hair and beauty salon stores, you know, teaching you subconsciously that you're not beautiful. And they're offering you stuff that come from different cultures to put on you. So you're putting weave in your hair. You're putting makeup on. When you are beautiful and you are black by itself, naturally, the most beautiful woman on planet Earth, nothing is messing with you. Can't no other woman fuck with you. That's how beautiful you is. But subconsciously, since they're putting these things into your culture, and then by the way of television and by way of music videos and what you look at it as a model or IG model, you got to get the fake butts, the fake breasts. You got to have the Brazilian hair, the Brazilian wax. You got to have eyelashes that's 4 feet long. Because you subconsciously hate you who you are, and it's not your fault, but it's what's been put in your face. Our consciousness have been truly hijacked. Truly hijacked, y'all. Truly hijacked. So it's time to revamp our consciousness, and it's time to revamp our culture. It's time to cultivate. It is time to grow. Yes, that's right. We're being bombarded with wrong information, and this information is changing who we are, and it is changing our personality. Think about love. Where did you get love from? You didn't get love from an African standpoint. You learned how to love from the Europeans. They taught you how to love through television. They taught you how to love through songs. They taught you how to love through slavery. So your love is very conditional. It comes with conditions, because they loved us with condition. I love you. I won't beat you. I won't hurt you as long as you picking my cotton. I love you. I won't beat you. I won't hurt you as long as you making me money. So we even see the way we love, the way we make love, the way we have sex. Think about everything. Why the things that you hate, the things that you envy, think about why you get mad at your significant other. Usually it's based off of a personality trait that was taught to you by somebody else. I don't like the way they did that. They didn't open the door for me. Who said that truly opening the door? How does that make you a gentleman? You opening the door. You know what I'm saying? Like, so where did you learn these things from? Where did you learn these cultures from? Like, truly. Not saying that opening the door is something wrong. I ain't saying that's wrong or nothing like that. You know, be polite and show your goddess that she actually is a goddess. I'm just saying, where did these concepts come from? Where did your God concept come from? Huh? Where did Caesar Bajor, that's a blue-eyed, blonde-haired white boy, how is that the savior of our nation? Every nation I go to, guess what? Their God look just like them. Look just like them. Chinese, they God is Chinese. Straight up. Europeans God, like Zeus and them are white boys. Blue-eyed, blonde hair. White boys. You see that? Jewish got a Jewish God. Then you get to our gods look like everybody else except for us. So you got to start asking yourself, where do these concepts come from? And why God is taught to us like he or she is unreachable. We can't touch them. We got to do all types of shit to get in contact with our God. We got to do all types of, we got to do all types when it's within you. We got to jump through all types of loops. God doesn't learn. It already knows everything. So if God doesn't learn and God already know everything, then what was the point of creating us? And why is everything that's about my physiology is about data collecting then? And why do I have to die and go back to the source to be reincarnated again? What is that process for? Am I taking information back to the source or not? You see what I'm saying? But we have been so indoctrinated, y'all. So indoctrinated on everything. Like the food that you think is good food is what? Huh? Think about it. Crab and lobsters. You actually think that's the rich man food. Let me get a steak, medium rare. You even want to eat like these people. Everything you want to do is just like your oppressor. You want to be your oppressor so bad and you don't even know that you envy your oppressor. You are jealous of your oppressor because when you think that the closer you emulate your oppressor, the freer you are. Which is playing into the hands of oppression. The more and more you try to be like them, the more and more mentally enslaved you're going to come because we are not our oppressors. You see that? You are a god. You are a goddess. And you see how it's stopping you from healing? Imagine how sick our people is because they're eating the wrong food that they think is good for them. They hurt and they in pain. Sickle cell anemia. Leukemia, all types of cancer, breast cancer, stomach cancer, colon cancer, anal cancer, all types of respiratory diseases, asthma, bronchitis. Think about it. Eyes, everybody got cataracts. Mucus is just in the eyes. And you never stopped and sat back and say, damn, this is all happening because I'm eating the wrong things. I'm eating food that belongs to another culture that don't belong to my culture. Because culture means cultivation. Cultivation means to have land. This land needs to be cultivated if I can grow my food. Oh, damn, I'm not even growing food because I don't even own land. Damn, where is black land at? Where is that even at? What do that even mean? Dang, what is my language? I'm speaking English. English come from England. Damn, who am I? Somebody asked me my nationality. I would say African American. How can I be two different continents in one? Who are you? Who are you? How can you be living your purpose, fulfilling your purpose, and you don't even know who you are? And this is how I know you don't know who you are, because look at what you eat. What you eat do not feed your physiology, does not feed your spirit nor your soul. Look at what you wear. What you wear do not embrace you. Half the stuff y'all wear cut off the circulation to your vaginas, give you all type of yeast infection. Man, half the stuff you wear sterilize you, overheat your testicles, kill your sperm. Half the clothing you wear is mixed fabric, which totally compromise the electrical conductivity that flows through your body. Look at the things you listen to. Half the music is talking about killing your brothers and sisters, putting them in a graveyard, keeping them from experiencing, keeping them from reaching their full potential, and you running around and you banging this shit loud so everybody can hear. Half the stuff you drink is attacking your liver. Huh? Think about it. Think about what is driving us to do the things we do. Why is this my favorite color? Why is this my favorite song? Why is that my favorite car? Why is that my dream car? Who valued that to be the dream car? Who put so much energy into that we make it the shit? You did. Your people did. Why is money so important? Because we made it powerful. Because we're the number one consumers. Like, start realizing why you do certain things you do, and I promise you, you'll be like, damn, I straight been hijacked. I don't even know why I like that shit. I only like that shit is because my peers around me like that shit. And why do I like that? Through television, through programming, through radio, through food, through them messing with our melanin neurotransmitters. We have been hijacked, family. And that you being hijacked and you're not realizing that and you're not waking up is the reason why we are sick. Your illnesses, your sicknesses, and your health is stopping you from reaching your full potential and you fulfilling your purpose, because your purpose is to be here to experience, and half of y'all are experiencing are artificial, fabricated, falsified reality. You are not living in actuality. Your reality, your consciousness have been built by Europeans and given to you by Europeans. And that's why you're acting like Negropeans. And Negropeans is the reason why you sick. We have to break the vicious cycle. Straight up. And then we have the savior complex. We have a savior complex. Well, we just hoping somebody crack the skies and come save us. Well, what happened if we was given the tools and the utensils to truly save ourselves, but we are not utilizing that? When you look inside of the Bible, the disciples asked him, where is the kingdom of God when it's coming? Messiah said, it's neither here or there. It's not exurb in the sky. He said, don't be looking around thinking you finna be saved. He said, for the kingdom of God is in the midst of you. It's right amongst you. You have the power to save yourself. And this savior complex got us sitting on our hands, sitting on our asses, praying all day and not putting in no work. It really do. Really do. We have to wake up, family. We have to wake up. And that's the crazy part. Even the Messiah said you got to get the works done. Faith without works is dead. Ain't that in the scripture? Where's the works at? Who is really putting together programs? Who is putting their hands and feet to the ground? Who is in these communities saving our young boys and our young girls? We got a lot of intellectual people on YouTube, on IG, on TikTok. Everybody spreading knowledge. Everybody got something to say. Everybody talking, but ain't nobody working. Ain't nobody organizing. Ain't nobody doing nothing but running their mouth. Meanwhile, our consciousness is deteriorating at a fast rate, along with our health, along with ourselves and our bodies. We are going to self-annihilate and we're going to cease to exist if we do not revamp our culture and if we do not upgrade our consciousness. We have to upgrade our consciousness. Consciousness means to know, and we are knowing the wrong information because we're being fed artificial information and artificial intelligence by a people that is not of us, that is not of our origin, that is not of our biochemical makeup, that is not of our molecular structure, that is not of the cosmos where we come from, that is not of prokaryotic cells or prokaryotes. These people come from eukaryotic cells. These people come from inside of caves. These people come from where a sun don't shine. These people are different people, and we are learning their culture. Now, am I mad at this people? Yeah, sometimes. Do I hate this people? No, I don't. But I'm just saying it's impossible for you to expand your consciousness. It's impossible for you to truly grow and reach your full potential when you're following the genetic blueprint and the code of somebody else that is not your people. That's all I'm saying. It's biochemically impossible to be fulfilled off another tribal, geogenetic people that they whole physiology is different from yours. So that means that you're going to need new education. You see that? It's a difference between their education and your education. We know that we oppress. We know that we suppress. We know that we depress. So guess what? The education that you need is the tools and utensils to break the depression, to break the oppression, to break the suppression. That's the education you need. Education means problem solving. That don't mean solving another people's problem. That don't mean working a 9 to 5 for another people, making these people and their children rich, making these people and their children gain generational wealth. What about your people? What about solving problems for your people? What about the sickness and disease that's sweeping through your people's community like the bubonic plague? That's what education is for. So our educations will always be different because their education will be to maintain control. Our education will be to break fucking control that they have over us. We go to school to be rebels. We go to school to learn how to be a revolutionary. They go to school to maintain control. It's a difference. It's a difference. You see that? The transgenerational intellectual properties that was passed down to us through slavery and through everything else is really, that's what tones our brain. That's what tones our consciousness. So literally, you have children going to school that want to get a job. You hear, I can't wait till I get my first job. Then you see them go to school. I can't wait to own 7 companies, to own resources, to own oil. It's a difference because they were on top. They were oppressing. They go to school to learn how to oppress. You go to school to learn how to be the good educated slave Negro. So now we have to change what education really means, because education means problem solving. True education don't mean that you solve problems for another people. True education is when you can solve problems amongst your people and in your community. So now we have to change the school. This is how you break the cycle. True food. Food stands for fuel for the body, vitality. Chicken will not give you vitality. Chicken will give you acids. You see that? Uric acid at that. Which turns urea into more uric acid, which shuts down the kidneys, which brings on an acidic response, which makes the mucosa membrane response, which activates the lymphatic system, is going to stop the kidneys. Now the kidneys cannot filtrate the lymphatic system. So now you got pimples, you got boils, you got tumors, and you got cancer. So meat cannot be fuel for an African indigenous people. Your food is fruits and vegetables, high vitality food, highly electrical food for a highly electrical light cold people. You see that? Biochemically, you're different. You're made of melanin. Melanin is nothing but condensed sunlight, so you need light for fuel. You see that? They have certain type of melanin, but inside their melanin is not selenium like yours. Their melanin got sulfuric acid in there, so they can eat sulfuric carbonic acid forming foods. They can eat that. You can't. It's a difference. So your education need to be different. And since you biochemically different, your nutritional charts need to be different. Your doctor database, your visits to the doctor should be totally different than theirs. Totally different. Because you biochemically are different. Your blood pressure is going to read higher. You're automatically in a state of fight or flight. Your sugar is going to read higher because you accumulate and break down more saccharides and monosaccharides and polysaccharides than them do because you're made of sugar. Sugar is carbon constituent chains. Carbon is converted melanin. Melanin is what? Condensed sunlight. So your sugar's going, so you're going to be pre-diabetic every time you go to the doctor. You're pre-diabetic. No, I'm not. This is just my chemical composition. But they don't compensate for you because they don't have to compensate for you. You're a frugivore. You're a fruitarian. They don't have to tell you that because you're not running shit. They're running things. So until we overthrow this shit and until we take back control, we're going to stay being fed a falsified, artificial, altered reality. And this reality is to chase the bag while life pass you by. This reality is to spend your money on all designers' clothes that never benefit you or your people. You see that? This reality is to spend your money with everybody for your jewelry, but never find a black jeweler to feed them and their family. Put their family through, different types of colleges that benefit them. This is going to be to buy food for food industries when you are a farmer by nature. You are a husbandry by nature. We are the agriculture. We agree with our culture more than anybody on planet Earth. You agree with nature. Nature is your culture. Agriculture. You supposed to be planning, forming, and teaching the world to do that. They did it in Kemet. They did it in ancient Sumeria. All of our ancient ancestors taught civilization how to form. But instead, you go buy your food instead of getting land, instead of coming together as a collective consciousness and revamping our consciousness and our reality and our culture, y'all. This is why we can never fulfill our purpose. See, 1 million black people fulfilling a purpose ain't shit. It ain't nothing. Because we are not individuals. We was created as a collective whole. As a collective whole, we are tribal people. The whole tribe got to make it. In order for us to make it. So, we've been throwing around a word lately, and basically this word is called communal obligations. Communal obligations. We are obligated. We are obligated. It's a must that we stand in a gap for our brothers and sisters in the community. It's a must that we knock on door to door and make sure that our young brothers and sisters is good mentally, psychologically. It's a must that we getting on your nerves about eating the right foods and putting down that food that is draining and dimming your light and that is sucking your consciousness from up out of your body. It's a must that we ring the alarm and we blow the whistles and we tell y'all, hey, wake the fuck up. We heading out this thing and it ain't looking good for us. Reboot the computers, wipe the hard drives, Upgrade. We moving into a fifth dimensional density. We shifting. Catch up. You are obligated. You are responsible for one another. I'm responsible for y'all. Y'all are responsible for me. And until we start looking at this thing like that, and we get this individuality bullshit out of our head, and then we got people, I'm a self-made millionaire. No, the fuck you not. You got millions because your people bought your albums. You got millions because the people bought your product. You got millions because the people brought value to what you put out. You would not be a millionaire if it wasn't for the collective. See that? This is sociological. This is society. We have to get this individuality mindset up out of our head. What are we talking about here? I'm self-made. I did this on my own and by yourself. Let niggas stop buying your products though. Let's see how long you keep those millions. Yeah, I bet you that'll bring you back to culture then. I bet you that'll bring you back to a collective African indigenous consciousness then. Quit acting like we can do this on our own. We can't. Freedom is going to come with us unifying. Unification is what's going to bring true salvation. That's why when you read in the scripture, it talks about Mikael, which is a Hebrew holy archangel. It said he's going to angle of light, should I say. It says that he's going to come gather the people. People be reading real slow. It says he's going to come gather the people. See that? So in order for salvation, the Hebraic African consciousness have to be gathered. We have to unify. Then we talk about freedom, and you read about Exodus all the time. You read about how they took over certain lands in Mizraim and in Africa. And notice what he said. He said, if you want, Yahweh told him, you want this land, you're going to have to go fight for this land. You see that? Kill the heathen that's there, then take over the land. But we want to be passive as hell when it comes to our freedom. If you look at like slavery and what's going on and how our consciousness is being sucked from us, the collective whole on the other side, they act like vampires that suck the consciousness out of our blood. This is called a pathological entity, right? When you really, really start looking at, worms, fluke worms, Fasciolopsis buski, shingles, herpes, and you start seeing how these things feed and feast on your mineral content, how they feed and feast on your biospiritual body. The first thing you say is, Yaki, where the herbs at? I need some worm. I got to get this shit up out of me. I got to get this blood-sucking creature up out of me. But soon as it come to another people that is pathological, that is sucking the consciousness and sucking the life up out of your body, you the first person to be like, we all one people. Spirit don't have no color. You start saying the most passive shit I ever heard in my life. You just wanted to get that worm up out of you, though. You want to get that parasite up out of you. But you have something worse than a parasite that is sucking the life and the consciousness up out of your tribe, up out of your body. And there's no fight when it comes to that. It's all passive. It's passive aggression. But you want every herb there is possible to get that damn herpes out of you, though. You on every herb. You you doing hydrogen peroxide. You just you trying shit to run away from that psychological entity, that pathological entity that's sucking the blood up out of your body. But we have a diabolical people that is sucking the consciousness up out of our body. And we just cool with it. We all one people. We one people this time, huh? You see what's really going on? It's an illness going on, y'all. And this is the reason why you cannot fulfill your purpose. So what is the true purpose of man? The true purpose of man is to experience. How do man experience? A man experiencing, he experienced by downloading information to the best of his ability. Now, are you able to experience information in this world if you're sick? No. You're not operating at your highest capacity. If you're eating low thought form frequency food, no, because you're not getting vitality through the food. If you're having sex outside of your race, no, because all different races, I hate the word race because that was made up, but all different tribes have a certain frequency within inside of their womb. If you're wearing clothes that you're not supposed to be really putting on because it's mixed fabric, no, because the electricity cannot flow with ease throughout the biospiritual body. If you're breathing in fabricated acidic air, no, Because air is oxygen, carbon chain constituents that brings life into the blood, and the blood is what delivers all the phytonutrients and bioflavonoids and biophotons to each individual cell in your body. You see that? If you chasing vagina all day. No, you're giving away your life force every time you bust a nut. You die quicker. The more nuts you bust, the less you live. That's why you have to preserve these things and save it for somebody that you can procreate with. See that everything that I'm talking about that you're addicted to and that you're doing is working against you and working against your culture. So how can we call this culture? You got niggas getting on the track. This one for the culture, dog. Kill a nigga, bust a nigga head, kill him up, shoot him up, fuck 10 bitches, whoopty wop wop, this and that, gave her head, and that's why I fucked your bitch. And you're like, well, how is that for the culture? I thought culture means to cultivate. I thought culture means to grow. This is most definitely not stimulating me at all. I think that just stunted my growth. How is that for the culture? Huh? How is that for the culture? How is drinking your liver to a prune for the culture? You just shriveled up your liver. Then we got all the rappers. You got the rock bottles, the Douce. You got the big bottles of liquor. Pop champagne poppy. Nobody is selling us nothing for our health. And that's one thing I will give NFLE. How you say his name? The brother named Chopper. At least he's selling chlorophyll. Thank God. His music is not matching what he's selling, but at least he's doing something for the people. Who is motivating the community? Who is uplifting the community? Who is putting good information into the community? Who is putting good food into the community? Who is boycotting these damn stores that is like these people come from overseas, set up shop in our communities, and we make them rich to kill us. How do that make sense? They come over here and set up shop, sell us cigarettes, malt liquor, beer, everything that literally disintegrate a community. They sell it. We make them rich by killing us. And you telling me that on a psychological, systematic level, we don't have a mental illness? We need healing, family. We need healing. Your purpose is to experience. You experience to download information. You experience what you download. You decode what you download to bring that information back to God. Your purpose, let me say this again. Your purpose is to teach God. I know some indoctrinated Negroes going to get over here and it's going to hurt their feelings that y'all hearing this. Yaki just said, I'm supposed to teach God. That nigga's going crazy. Your purpose is to teach God. You are here to download. You are here to experience. Everything about your physiological structure shows that you download light code frequencies and information. You decode this information through your sensory senses. Your sensory senses is how you experience. You transition or you die. Don't mean you're dead. And you take all of this information back to the consciousness, the source of what we call God. And then you come back through and you do it again from a different perspective and a different body. You see that? So your purpose is to experience. It's impossible to experience if you're sick. It's impossible to truly experience if your experience is based off a altered reality or what we call a hijacked conscious fed to us by Europeans and anybody else that want to see us down and out, oppressed, suppressed, and depressed. It's time to break the chains. It's time to revamp our culture. And it's time to recreate consciousness of the indigenous African people, whether we indigenous Africans in Africa, indigenous Africans in America, indigenous Africans in Alaska, wherever we at. Y'all can call it Native American Indians, we that. Y'all can call us ancient Sumerians, we that. Y'all can call us the Anunnaki, we that. Y'all can call us Africans in Africa, we that. Y'all can call us the Dogon tribe, we that. Sirius A, Sirius B, we all of that. Different names. They said that we was going to be called pride words and broad words. I get it. Reason why we got so many names because we've been here since the beginning of time. That's it. And we have to come together collectively, globally, and raise up. And until we do that, and until we start loving each other and truly looking out for each other, we're going to be in this position, y'all. So on this 222, I'm just here, the portals are open. I'm just here to spread that message. Experience, family. Live your life. Experience. That is your true purpose. And your gifts is used as tools to experience at the best of your ability. That's why you have a gift in cooking. That's why you have a gift in singing and rapping. These things are supposed to take you to places where you can experience the information the best. That's the whole point. Your gifts and your talents is not your purpose. Your purpose is to experience, for you can take that collective data and information back to teach God. It gave you, because I ain't gonna call it a he or she, it gave you talents, for you can use your talents and your gifts to do that at its optimal vibrational frequency. All right, with that being said, if you're looking for herbs, you're looking for healing, y'all already know, www.yakiawaken.com. Click the link in the bio. Follow me on Facebook at Yaki Hickman. Follow me on YouTube at Yaki Awaken. The portals are open. Make sure that y'all meditating. It was a worldwide collective prayer and meditation going down for world peace today. Make sure that you sit in your corner, sit in the dark, or light you a candle or something, and focus on peace. You know, when the collective get together and they output these frequencies, magical things happen, y'all. So the portals are open on 222 in the Hebraic Afro-Phoenician language, or what they call the Hebraic African language. 2 represents Beit or Bayath. Beit represents the temple of the house. The body is the temple of God, and God is inside the temples. So, you know, this is the Creator welcoming us into its house. We on holy ground. Take your shoes off. Step in the temples, you know, and really, really, really build up your mentals, y'all. It's time to come together as a collective whole, man. All right, I love y'all. I love all of y'all in deed and in truth. Peace to the gods. Peace to the earth. Peace.